2018 Indian Scout Bobber Unveiled. Indian's target customer for the Scout Bobber is the younger, hipper, wanna-be-edgy type that sometimes prefers style over practicality. And before you light up the comment thread below, that's okay sometimes. Every bike doesn't have to be practical, something more visceral can be desired. Chopped fenders front and rear are key to the minimalist bobber styling. This may lead you to think that the massive front tire is bigger and fatter on the Scout Bobber when reality, it is the exact 130/90/16 from the original. The shorter fenders cost practical points. Another rider I was following crossed through some water and a gutter, sending the street tackle straight up into the air reminiscent of a jet ski. To be fair, I think Indian chopped the rear fender at a reasonable cut so you won't end up with your back covered in dirt and water should you get stuck in a downpour riding to your next stop. Some of the guys on the ride whined about the seat at our next stop after about 50 miles, but I didn't have any issues. I wanted to stretch my back and enjoy my coffee, but I was still looking forward to jumping back on the bike for more time in its two-tone saddle. An extra inch or two of leg length from my 30-inch inseam would have better locked me into the seat. I did have times where I felt myself sliding back after having choked up in the seat for one reason or another. The seat height, at 25.6 inches, will put most riders flat-footed, which will help newbie feel more comfortable with the 554-pound curb weight. The Bobber's thicker saddle raises ride height ever so slightly. Weight is down by 5 pounds from small changes, most obviously from the shorter fenders. Now let's talk about the suspension. If people have an issue with the idea of the Scout Bobber after reading its spec chart, it has been mainly the loss of an inch of rear suspension travel. To best put it to the test, I aimed for each and every bump in the road and train track I could find to give you my rear end feedback. First off, let's be clear about the Bobber's intention. This isn't a touring or adventure bike, so it doesn't need cushy, electronic, dynamically damped suspension. On the roads around Minneapolis with my geared up weight of about 165 pounds, I was pleasantly surprised by the suspension's performance. It was only over sharp bumps, like train tracks at speed, when objectionable harshness was felt. For the majority of riding, in the city or out on the highway, the 2 inches of travel in the rear was sufficient. The new cartridge-style fork up front also did a great job of keeping things compliant in the twistier stuff, and front-end dive while braking was nearly non-existent. As our time grew to an end on the Scout Bobber, the last few of us seemed to want to test out its hooligan abilities. This ended up seeing another journalist jump the bike over a loading ramp. I'll be honest, I think he may have been wishing for a few more inches of suspension travel due to the impact bringing his voice up an octave or two. While the Indian Scout Bobber might not be the FTR 750 inspired street tracker many had hoped for, it is a blast to ride, begging you to ride it hard and put it away wet. The Bobber does exactly what Indian planned for it to do. It looks badass, it makes you feel badass and it makes you want to do badass shit.